Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for your interest in working with me. And I hope that you can get some idea of what we can do for you by watching this quick little video. Hopefully, quick. I like to jabber and stuff, just like I'm doing. But anyway, my name is Scott Davidson. I'm the Bald Airtable guy. I love this thing. I literally do everything in my life through Airtable. So here's some examples of what I'm talking about. What would you say if I told you that you could have a completely customizable CRM that, wait for it, you never had to pay for again? That's right. This thing is completely free in this current state. So let me just show you what it can do. Obviously, we can put in all of our information in here, and we've got we're tracking all of our leads and prospects through here, all their social media, all their consultations, everything else, and that's all fine and great. You see the colors, you see the emojis that's supported, whatever else, but the real awesomeness of Airtable is this. We can come in here and look at data in a different way. We can, the master log contains everything. First off, when a new contact comes in, we can literally send them a hyperlink to this form. And when they fill out this form that we've gone over and customized more than I have here, and they hit submit, it will literally enter data in on our table. Now, granted, form doesn't look amazing, but it's functional. We can get into all the other kinds of form makers and everything else. You can connect it with some automation. How awesome would that be, right? But then we can group things by the referral source. These are how these particular clients heard about us. By what referral source. So these people heard us from Facebook, these people heard us from Instagram, and so on and so forth. And then we can start looking at the kinds of people, and we start analyzing the data based on where they're coming from, where they're hearing from us. Maybe we have a certain client type from Facebook that differs from Instagram or YouTube, and so maybe we need to do something different to on any of those platforms, so that we can have a more cohesive client that's coming into our business that way. But then the really awesome part is you can send this to your sales team, or you can give your sales team access to this thing, and just from this screen alone, they can manage the sales process for your business. So I can literally if the way that this works is, if this is my sales process, so these are the different phases that my clients are in. So first contact through third, and then a phone or Zoom consult, follow up, stay in touch, and then they ultimately become my client. So I can manage my sales process from this screen alone. As I'm making calls, whatever else, here's my phone number, I'm on the phone, blah, blah, blah. And I can move them from one phase to the next. Now, this will update in real time across the entire table. So if I go to my name here, I should have second contact back on the master log. Boom. Didn't even have to touch it. So it's just another way that you can organize data. It's kind of like Trello, if you're familiar with that. I'm a huge Trello fan before Airtable. Airtable honestly took over Trello in my world. Because this has way more function, way more awesomeness. Trello has a few pros that I still love, that I wish Airtable had, but as an overall tool, man, this beats Trello 10 to 1 to me in my book. So that's our sales phase. So you can give your sales team access to this table, and then they can do all of your management for you, just dragging and dropping. And then, say that I become a client. Well, that's great. Now I disappear. Now I'm no longer a lead or prospect. I'm now a client. So I disappear from the table. So, and that's all done by these filters. And we can even customize the view of what we want, of the information that we want to show here. Things like that. And then even better, we can go over here to the social media profiles. Now, this is a different view of the same data. We're looking at the same data over and over and over again. We're just looking at it a little bit differently. We're filtering it out, what we don't want, etc., etc., etc. So this is all of my social media profiles from all the people that are in the table. It gives us a headshot, and actually, now that this is pretty cool, they actually have a crop to fit. So now I can, instead of staring at Batman's belly button, I can now see the whole thing. But really awesome. So, I'm seeing all of my customer data that I want to see in one screen. So this one in particular really shows all their social media profiles. If I just want to look at the people who have Facebook profiles, I can click here, and it's only going to show me their Facebook profiles. And here's their link. I can click on this, and then I can literally click this link, and it'll open up to their Facebook page. Same with email addresses. I can click this, and it'll open up my default mail client. So, that's just one thing. Then, once somebody becomes my client, they go to my black book, and here I have my clients. So that's just one thing. And imagine all of this. You'd be able to move prospects and leads and everybody else through your tables, through your sales process, all by automation. It's all possible. What else? All right, reviews, right? So if we had a list of clients in our table, or people we've sold, if you have like an e-commerce, the people your customers that you sold stuff to, things like that, you want them to write reviews for you, right? For me in the service business, I always want somebody to write a review for me that I've worked for, and hopefully it's a good one. So I collect a little bit of information here, and then I come over to the reviews. I can send them this form again. I send them this form, and they fill it out, and based on what they filled out, once they hit submit, it goes right into my table. And so, boom, here. And you can also see that with Airtable, you can have rich text formatting in your long text fields now. That's a new feature that they just released not too long ago. So, and all of this information can then be looked at as a gallery. So here you can see your reviews, and the good ones anyway. Actually, these are the approved ones, apparently. So whoops, let's do that and show all of them. So now we can see all of our reviews and where they're coming from and whatever else. And again, the rich text formatting really is awesome. So there's our reviews that we can collect directly into Airtable, and you literally just click on these and then click how many stars you want and whatever else if you were to give access to this table. What else? Social media. So everybody needs a social media content calendar, right? This is one of many designs that I've tweaked and worked with. This one I kind of like the best, I think. So here we have our master, but again, we can look at this information differently. So we can group these by platform. Okay, so here will be all my blog posts, here will be all my Facebook posts, all my Instagram posts, all my LinkedIn posts, so on and so forth, all my YouTube videos. And these right now are in the topic and idea phase. So basically, you come in here, write a quick topic idea. Maybe you saw it on a website, click that, or fill that in. Write few little notes. If you have some attachments, you can put the attachments right in Airtable. If it's a trend, you can click that. And if I really want to go ahead and publish it, I can click that. And then boom, with automation, this would then be moved over to the blog table. And just like this, if I clicked here, this would then be moved over to the Facebook table, so on and so forth. So then, I also, when it comes to content, there's always that great, idea that I had when I was on the toilet, or whatever. I swear this is my phone hand, right? Or, I was busy and I just had an awesome idea and I don't want to forget it. Boom. You can download the Airtable app onto your phone and then come in here to the brain dump. You can set this up as a hyperlink, open it up as a web page on your phone, since Airtable won't let you use this form on your phone directly. And I can input all of my awesome ideas, tell it what platform I want it. If it's a trend, once I hit submit, boom, it comes into my master as a brain dump. So, you have all that. So that's just the topic idea phase. Then you get into the actual posting phase. Well, all of these platforms are all specific. The information is specific to all of them. So you have a title, post, featured image, hashtag, status, due date, and publish date, for the blog. And then Facebook is the post photo, post hashtags, links. Does anybody even still use hashtags anymore? Link, status, due date, publish date, and all of this. So in here we'll list all of my post idea, or my actual posts, what the status of them is. You can group by any of these fields. And then I've even left a place for my freelancer to come in, and it will only show on their table. It's not set up right now, but it'll show the post and the platform that I want it to go to, and the date that I want it to be done by. And then again, this isn't set up, but I can go over here to my update schedule and then see which platform was updated with what post. So it's basically just a summary. Then I have a Facebook group that I need to manage. So here's my brand new Facebook group management tool. And the old tool was amazing, and Facebook cracked down on stuff. So, I had to create a new one. But this one will allow you to search Facebook for people living in a city. And granted, this is the light version. There's a much more in-depth version that exists as well, because there's more functions. But here, you fill in these 3 fields. This gives you an input. You copy that. You go over here. You click. You open up this site and follow the instructions here. It spits out some information. You paste that information here, and then it will complete the search URL. Then you can just go ahead and click this, and it will perform your search through Facebook and give you the results. Then, since these are people that live in Cincinnati, then I want to invite them to my Facebook group. So then I just can write their names down here. Once I do, they move over here. Let's just go ahead. Then they move over here, and I can get their profile link. And then if they join the group, I can say, hey, they joined the group. And now they're a group member. Maybe, if it'll work. Paste. Okay, let's just type my name. So now I'm a group member. Then it comes over here. Now I can get my headshot. The profile link will, in fact, come in automatically if it's entered. It's busy filling it in. Their business, their logo. Hey, there it is. Their industry, their product or service. Okay. And then, ideally, I want to monetize that Facebook group, right? So then I have my sales process built in. So there's my sales phase, my sales temperature, email, phone number. All of this comes full circle with this. And then all of the business and personal social media platforms and whatever else of people in my Facebook group. Because remember, these people are different, probably, than your leads and prospects coming into your CRM. So you keep them separate, right? You can find all of these things in one place. Or if you're really crazy, you could combine them into one full group management CRM. Like, the opportunities are completely endless. In industry here, if I go over here and then say I'm in consulting, when I fill that in, boom, it lists my. So this is really for referrals and things like that and who in my group does what. So hey, this guy's in consulting, I can refer him out, and it'll even tell you here how many people are in the industry. And then ultimately I want a consultation with this person. So I come over here, and where's it at? It's at the end. I go like this. And I can put in my date, my link, there. Come over here. It'll populate all this here. I don't know why it didn't. But these will populate, and then you can write in some questions and whatever else. So yeah, all of this is incredibly helpful to organize your business. I'm flying through this like checklists, new business owner checklist. Boom, you come in here, you can click, mark them off, whatever else. So checklists are easy. This is very simplistic way of doing a checklist, but you can do that. Your daily goal sheet, right? So especially this is one that I did for my buddy who sells insurance, right? And so his goals, the things that he sells are typically up to 5 applications, and then up to 3 double sales, and then maybe 2 cross sales in a single day. So this was a way for him to track how much money he was making and when he was making his money. So you could even go so far as to have the day of the week. Actually, in the next one you'll see, you can even write a formula to where the day of the week will show up here. So then I can group all of my Tuesdays together, I can group all of my Mondays together and things like that, and look at the data on a day-by-day basis for the month or for even the year. And so this shows the whole month of January. And again, Airtable is not a spreadsheet, but it kind of behaves like one. So if I go here, I think I need 3. Oops. I go here, I can still fill in my dates just like I would in Excel. So it still has some of the same functionality. And again, all of these automatically add up towards the end. So I can come over here and I can go, hey, I got a $500 app, and then I got a $700 or a $600 upsell, and it's going to track my daily amounts for me. And then the sum of the monthly amount is down here, and the sum of the monthly amount for all of these individual these columns here are all down at the bottom. And I do this for the whole year, and I can make business decisions. I can do reports and everything else if you have a pro account, but I can do all of that just from this one table. And you can have a day-by-day sales report for your entire business, automatically generated for you as the year goes along. So literally, as this table is filled in, the sales report is filling in too, but I don't have to duplicate that action. The sales report is filled in based on the data from this table. And so I plug in the numbers once, and that's it. There's no copy, no pasting, none of that. That way, I can fire my secretary if you want to. You probably don't want to do that. Maybe you do. Who knows? But, all of that can be done with just entering in the information once. Then we have a sales call tracker, right? Because we all want to do cold calls. And cold calls are the most amazing thing in the entire world. Not. But I can do this. And here's that formula I was talking about. And again, this is by month. So I can track my new leads. I can track my total calls that I made. the offers I made, the sales I made, the revenue that I made. And those all get fed down into a yearly summary to where I can look at the breakdown month by month, or even day by day, or even week by week if I really want to. So there's, sales call tracker, tithes and offerings, and this is really to say, this can track finances again. Let's see here. Let's fill this in real quick. So this is business income. And then let's see here. I netted, $7,000. Boom. And this will calculate for me my tithe, my offering, and my total based on the percentages that I have set up in here. And then once I give it, I can go like that. All of these things can be done in Airtable. I flew through this stuff, and there's so much more that I could talk about. And this video is still more than 5 minutes longer than I wanted it to be. But this is all to show you what is possible with Airtable. And the possibilities are literally endless. Could you imagine using these tools to your advantage with some automation built in, so you don't have to copy and paste and move information and things like this? You can click a checkbox and data will go from one place to the next. Information can be brought in from the outside and other software services that you have. We can do nearly anything at this point with Airtable. Like I said, my life is governed by Airtable. I do everything through Airtable, whether it's business or personal. Nearly everything through Airtable, and I love it so, because it makes life so much easier. So if this doesn't get you excited about what we can do together, I don't know what will. Like I say, if you have an idea, we can make it happen more than likely. There's been very few times where I've just had to say, no, we don't have the capability to do that. We could find a workaround or something like that. So again, thank you for your interest in working with me. I'm excited. I can't wait to get started, learn about you, learn about your business. And I just hope that I can serve you to the best of my ability, so that you can use these tools to go out into the world and change the world with whatever it is that you do. That's my goal for all of my clients. I love seeing people succeed. I want you to succeed, and these tools are my little way of enabling you to go out into the world and change the world with whatever it is that your business does. That's just my passion. So thank you for your time, and I hope that going forward we can work together to change the world.